Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Kevin Lopez again from Personal Tutors. The topic that I'm going to go ahead and explain to you today is the Rattrap, a famous story in the 12th standard Flamingo book. The characters of this story goes ahead as the Peddler, the Crofter, the Ironmaster and Elda. The Peddler being the story's main protagonist. The story revolves around the Peddler. The Crofter is the person the Peddler cheats and feels sorry for later on. The Ironmaster, as usual, named as the blacksmith out there working up in his iron factory. And Elda is the Ironmaster's daughter. Captain Von Stable, a name that I'll keep hidden for some time over here right now. While you'll be getting the brief, you'll come up to the crux of the story. Now, the story revolves at a poor little rat-trap seller who is a peddler roaming around the streets of the city, vaguely trying to go ahead and sell his products. He has been mistreated by almost everyone he has met. He has been illified by almost every third person that he meets. Nobody cares about him. And thus, the peddler goes ahead and makes a notion of the world of being a big giant rat trap. Wherever you run out, you'll be caught one day. Your envies, your jealousies, your hatred, your mindset, everything would be trapped up in a huge rat trap called the world. This peddler, used to being kicked out, mishandled, misjudged, and even cursed by other people, once goes ahead to the old Crofter. Expecting the same behavior of being kicked out, the peddler instead gets a very good and naturous, harmonious welcome by the old Crofter. Remember, the Crofter being an old person too, like peddler, was missing a company. Thus he goes ahead and offers the peddler a bit of porridge. He even tells him that he sells the milk from the cow that he's got to the local place and has got 30 shillings as well. Now this fellow goes ahead and leaves the house. Even the peddler leaves the house, coming back just to smash in and steal the crowns, the 30 crowns that the Crofter had went ahead and saved for his living. The peddler thinks that running around in the city would be a bad thing, since his perception for the world was a rat trap, that sooner or later he would be arrested. Thus he runs towards the wood. Again running towards the wood, he loses the way. He lost the track. The notion of the world being a rat trap again comes back to him, and he finds himself trapped out there in the jungle. He hears a humming of the iron factory nearby and immediately realizes that there's a factory of an ironmaster nearby. The ironmaster, being an ex-army man, finds the peddler to be an old friend of him, that was Captain Von Stable, and since his facial expressions look alike Captain Von Stable, the Ironmaster invites him to spend the Christmas at his place. The peddler, knowing that he could go ahead and get trapped into the prison if the Ironmaster comes to know about the truth, denies the offer bluntly. Whereas the Ironmaster, so keen to have him at his place, sends his daughter Elda back to the factory and asks the peddler to come ahead and join them for the Christmas Eve. Elda, being a wise girl, finds herself looking at the peddler rather scared and heinous, thinks about something suspicious, which actually leads to peddler going ahead and exclaiming it to her that he is not the person her father thinks him to be. Although they go ahead and give him a courteous welcome, they give him a place in the house to spend the Christmas Eve together, got him shaved, got him bathed, but in the very morning, the Ironmaster, being a keen person, realizes that the peddler isn't the person he was believing him to be. The peddler exclaims wisely that he wasn't asking to be present there anymore. Rather, the Ironmaster, feeling scared of he might be again stealing from them, since the peddler had gone ahead and revealed it to them that he got the money from the Crofter, the Ironmaster thought him to be stealing from their own place as well. He was a bit skeptic about keeping him at the place, but the person called Elda, the daughter, saw the other side of the peddler, being lonely, being judgmental about his life being, she actually asks him to spend the eve with them together, only to find him gone in the morning, nothing lost, nothing stolen, in spite a gift left for Elda for Christmas and the 30 crowns for the crofter to be given back. My friend, this story revolves around the characters who are actually lonely inside. If you read between the lines, you find the old crofter being a lonely person, thus asking the peddler to spend some time with him, offering him some food. The peddler being a lonely person, thus hoping to get emancipation from someone he would be meeting in the future. The ironmaster and his daughter Elda, they too, in my thoughts, were a bit lonely. Thus they went ahead and offered him to spend an eve with him. So this story is about lonely people trying to find out solace in each other's, whereas whilst they found the solace, the guilt of committing the wrong purchased their dignity into a pious one. This is what I would be going ahead and explaining in the questions coming down. From where did the peddler get the idea of the world being a rat trap? During one of his unusual plottings, the peddler was mishandled and was asked to leave the premises immediately, and the circumstances that he felt out there was really bad. Thus he presented himself with an idea of the whole world being a giant rat trap, and wherever they roam around wouldn't be helping them rather than getting encompassed in the cage. The next question would be, why was he amused by this idea? The idea of being encompassed and encaged in a giant rat trap was a bit amusing to the peddler, because whatever circumstances that he went ahead and faced was diluted with the fact that it's just a rat trap, and wherever he would be running around, he wouldn't get far from his pains and griefs. Thus, the idea of being into a giant rat trap actually pacified the peddler, rather than making him feel agitated and crying off the situations. Did the peddler expect the kind of hospitality that he received from the crofter? No, never, not at all. The peddler was actually not at all expecting the way crofter would be going ahead and being nice to him, good to him, providing him a good hospitality and asking him to spend some time with him, even offering him porridge to drink and showing him his personal belongings as well. The next question is, why was the crofter so talkative and friendly with the peddler? The crofter was a lonely fellow living alone in the grey cottage at the end of the road, getting least number of visitors, almost none of them. Was a lonely fellow by heart himself. He too was expecting somebody or anybody to go ahead and come and spend some time with him so that he could go ahead and talk. That is human. That is human, guys. Really. Why did he show the 30 kronas to the peddler? The crofter was knave and truthful by heart. He actually went ahead and craved a company of somebody who could spend time with him, sit with him. He went ahead and, to win the trust of the peddler, showed him the crowns so that he may go ahead and believe that he has made that money by selling the milk to the company, thus asking the peddler to spend some more time with him usually. Did the peddler respect the confidence reposed in him by the crofter? No, not at all. The peddler, being a cunning fellow, went ahead and, in the absence of the crofter, stole the leather pouch in which he had kept the money. What made the peddler think that he had indeed fallen into a rat trap? After stealing the money, the peddler found that sooner or later he would be getting arrested. Thus, running out to the woods would help him. While running into the woods, the peddler lost his way. And thus he realized that wherever he runs, he is still trapped in the giant rat trap. Thus the thought of being in a rat trap justified by him at this very moment. Why did the ironmaster speak kindly to the peddler and invite him home? As I said earlier, the ironmaster misjudged the peddler to be an old ally of him during the war, that is Captain Von Stable. He was so keen to have his old friend back, being a lonely fellow as well. that he wanted the peddler to spend the eve with him and have some good time. Why did the peddler decline the invitation? The peddler was alarmed, of course. On the first instance, the ironmaster was misrepresenting him to be as Captain Von Stable, which he was not. The second thing, the ironmaster, being big and strong person, would definitely dislike the idea of keeping a thief in their house, and he may even go ahead and get the peddler arrested. What made the peddler accept Elda Williamson's invitation? Elda actually was a lady who did not took the peddler by his appearance or by his deeds. She actually went ahead and saw the loneliness that the person was having in his heart, thus going ahead assuring him that he would be free and not being convicted of any deeds, just as to go ahead and remain in the house. What doubts did Elda have about the peddler? Elda, being a smart girl, went to the mill to fetch the peddler as informed or instructed by her dad, the ironmaster, was actually keen to find him sly, shy, and a bit scary. These factors actually helped her to doubt more about the peddler. When did the ironmaster realize his mistake? The ironmaster asked the peddler to spend the evening at their place, asked his servants to give him a bath and shave him. Thus, in the very morning, he saw that the actual Captain Von Stable was a different person rather than the peddler. Thus, he realized his mistake in the morning. What did the peddler say in the defense when it was clear that he was not the person the ironmaster thought he was? The peddler was adamant at the fact that he never exclaimed himself to be Captain Von Stable, and thus had declined the idea of spending the eve at the ironmaster's place. Why did Elda still entertain the peddler even after she knew the truth about him? Elda, being a person of virtue, never went ahead and thought people to be as persons. She actually went ahead and saw the reality behind his heart of being lonely, and being a customary thing of calling a guest at home on Christmas Eve was in her tradition. She went ahead and thus asked by her father to the peddler to spend the evening of the Christmas at their place, kept the tradition in heart, and thus followed him to spend the evening at their place. Why was Elda happy to see the gift left by the peddler? Whilst on the Christmas day, Elda and her father, the ironmaster, were in the church, came to know that yes, peddler was in actual a thief who had stole money from the old kofta. She had a notion to have kept a thief in her house, yet whilst reaching back home, she found a Christmas gift wrapped for her and the money of the crofter kept back at the place, asking them to provide it back to the crofter, undersigned by Captain Von Stable. Why did the peddler sign himself as Captain Von Stable? Now, throughout the life, the peddler was an unrecognized guy. He was kicked out, he wasn't spoken by anything, an unwanted person roaming on the streets trying to make a living, a lonely person deep down at heart filled with grief. He actually wrote that he had rose to be a captain today. Thus, the joy that he had in his heart was immense and unaccountable. The person had encountered at last some recognition in his life, thus he went ahead and signed himself as Captain Von Stable. This was a brief story of people with lonely hearts. The characters mentioned in this chapter are somehow leading to the loneliness and trying to cope up with them. If you check out the peddler, the person all his life tried to be in company of someone, to be with friends, to make friends with them, to have a good rapport. The old crofter definitely went ahead and offered the peddler some solace, because he too, being an old person living in the grey cottage at the end of the lane, was never visited by anyone. Ironmaster and Elda, father and sister, working in a mill in the middle of the forest, definitely has no crowd to be there for their ease. Thus asked the so-called Captain Von Stable to go ahead and spend some time with them, because the Ironmaster too deep down inside missed his old friend. Although he was misrepresenting the peddler to be Captain Von Stable, yet he went ahead and took him as an old lost friend and thus invited him to spend the Christmas Eve. This was a brief given by me. I ask you to go ahead and read the chapter for yourself once, and if you have some more questions, you can just go ahead and comment us. Definitely you can learn more about us by pressing the button of About Us. You can go ahead and ask the details, get the details online, or you can get the data in a pen drive as well. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.